wait the info. All right, we're live. I'm gonna just edit the info on YouTube. Okay, I'll do it after. No big deal. All right, man. MGSV. I don't know how this is gonna go because I hate this game now and the franchise too. So,
I do too. So
yeah, I mean, okay, you recently got the platinum, so that took almost the length of the coma, right? It's almost
yeah,
a
seven
little
years
over the full
actually.
length of the coma.
Yeah, 7 years, but I had an older account, so yeah, about 9 years to get this platinum.
Let
You
me
know,
I'm gonna keep fucking with the display here because I'm retarded. All right. So okay, you got the platinum. Let's just get the obvious stuff out of the way. How hard is this platinum? And how worth getting is it now in 2025? Because there's
people.
people who want it. Let's just get that out of the way. There's Metal Gear people who want the platinum. Is it worth getting? How hard is it? How much? I mean, how many hours? Give it a out of 5. How hard is it?
It's,
Go ahead.
so people really make this platinum seem to be way harder than it actually is. Like if you go to discussions, it's gonna be people whining about S rank requirements. They're gonna be whining about having to make a nuke. They say like it take a shit ton of resources. They're gonna be complaining about the animals because some of the animals, like the tortoise and I think the Tsuchinoko, are way too hard to get, and they keep complaining. And for a long while, I was like, yeah, I need to find a reason to plot this because I don't really enjoy this game. I don't really like this game. And I had to, convince myself to do it. And those people were telling me it was gonna be hard, but I always doubt that it was gonna be that hard. I think the only true hard games to plot in this franchise is Rising and Chew, and which is funny because they are the true writing games. But I never thought it was gonna be difficult, so it ended up with me thinking this is a 2 out of 10 at maximum. I'm thinking I'm being generous. This game is broken, like in a sense that I've been a while since I've seen a triple A game be this pretentious and broken like this game. And people might be thinking you're exaggerating things. This game isn't as easy as you're making it to be, or it's not bugged or broken, but it absolutely is. Like they didn't play test the S ranks. First of all, they absolutely did not. Nobody play tested this
Yeah, I
game.
was gonna say, did they playtest any of the game, or were they using all the playtesters on like PT? Because they filmed all of that playtesting.
Yeah, because for example, let's say for example the mission, I think back up, back down. I think we have footage. We should put it on the screen when this video goes live. But like for example, let's say back up, back down, and you have like big boss go on this big ass mission where the tanks are coming from every single side, and you basically are fighting against the Russians, and there's like 6 soldiers to rescue, and there's like crazy side objectives on that mission, like go there before they're executed while you're handling all the 5 tanks. And it's crazy to know that to S rank that mission, you only need to extract 1 tank, and you can run out of the extraction point,
Yeah,
and
you
that's
showed
an
me
S
that.
rank.
Yeah, you showed me that.
That's the Foxhound. That's the Shark or
I mean,
Foxhound codename.
it's a characteristic of the entire franchise that all the mechanics are very exploitable and breakable, and sequence breaking and doing things the wrong way has always been kind of a fun part of Metal Gear. So yeah, there's like, I remember in college, I think it was not this game, it was Metal Gear 4, but like I watched somebody who was a fan of the franchise but not exactly familiar with the gameplay really really struggle with 4 because they had like a mindset that just didn't apply to the game design. Like they wanted to approach everything in a way where like everything was very permanent to them. The troop patrols and the things all needed to be interacted with or dealt with, and it's like, no, you can just run past that. Like, no, you can just hide in this dumpster for 4 minutes and do nothing for this whole part, and then get out, and everyone's left. Like, you know, like there's stuff like that where you can definitely exploit Metal Gear. So I can see how this is a easier platinum than maybe some people are making it out to be for themselves. But I mean, let's get into the meat here. Favorite achievements. Why did you want to get the platinum? Um, and then generally, like, you know, what's your opinion on the game, especially now? It's been almost, is it over a decade now? What did this come out? 2015. So we're
Yeah,
at like
it's
10 years.
we need another year, and then it's gonna be 10 years, I think.
So I mean,
But
yeah, hit me with the meat here. Give me your favorite achievements, and then talk to me a little
I
bit
think
about
it's
the experience.
funnily enough, I think it's this one, conservation, which is
This is
getting
the
all of
animals.
the animals. And people were talking so badly about this achievement when I first talked about some of my friends who are trophy hunters about this trophy. Were saying like crazy shit, like that they spent like over 24 hours hunting for an animal and they couldn't find it. And some people were really getting frustrated at it. And I was like, I don't know. I mean, even if it like takes a while, I think I'm gonna do well with this thing. And thing is, it didn't take me more than 6 hours to get all the animals I needed,
I
and it
don't
was a
remember. I think
very
I got that
fun.
achievement. I'd have to check Steam, but I don't remember because I remember like wanting to collect the animals, and I don't even remember it being that difficult. Like I
Hmm.
remember it being sort of just something you could like it's like an actual side quest. It's something that can fairly easily be completed over the course of just playing the game. Like if you see
Hmm.
an animal, just shoot it and Fulton it. It's not
Uh,
that
the
tricky.
thing, the problem I think is that some of the animals you need to capture, they only get to the capture cage,
Yeah, the
and
capture
and
cage
you need
stuff and the
to.
time of day stuff I can understand, but for the most part, it's like not a lot of. It's only a few, right? It's only a few that are.
It's 47,
Yeah,
47 animals in.
it's not. That's
And I had
really
a
not
lot
that
of fun.
many.
I had a lot of fun, placing the cages. I was listening to music as well. I was having a good time. I think this was the part of the game that I had the most fun because I was listening to music. I was petting D Dog. I was like interacting with the D Horse and Quiet. I was like swapping my companions around,
Yeah,
and
I very vaguely remember landing in Africa a bunch of times to do some cage collections and finish this achievement. Just looking at this video, I
mhm.
very vaguely remember it.
And it has like some of the animals I really love. Like one of my favorite animals is on MGSV, which is the caracal. Which was amazing. Finding a caracal, I just think they look funny. They're like the funniest cat that God ever made. Let me see if I can find here on this video
Well,
where it is. But
while you're looking, did you have fun getting the platinum? Is this still a fun game 10 years on?
no, it isn't. I don't think this is a good game. Like I think people have deluded themselves into thinking this game is good because the core gameplay of the game is phenomenal. Like there's nothing like this besides something like Helldivers, which took heavily inspiration for the way Snake moves in this game. But
That's
but like
true.
but the game itself, like the I'm talking about missions. Like the missions are well designed. It's just that the game itself, the ranking system is busted, and let's just say that having to S rank two of the same missions because you have to do the subsistence version of the mission and then the normal mission, and then having to do the side objectives for the normal mission and doing it again for the same mission later on is just insane to me.
Can
Like,
can I tell you like
holy shit.
so my experience cuz I don't think I have the platinum. I might. I don't know. I have a lot of hours in this game. Not like an insane, but enough. And I'm obviously like a lifetime Metal Gear fan, so I can speak on the topic. But this game in particular, it's like a TV show. Both, you know, it was built that way and it ended up being slapped together that way. But even in retrospect, it feels like a TV show where you're like, oh yeah, I remember that TV show. That was a good show. and then you put it on, and most of the episodes are bad, and you remember them differently than like when you're playing them, because you have to place, like you're saying, you have to play so many things so differently and get so many different objectives. But it has this like net effect of being like MGSV is like a mediocre TV show that set some, that broke some ground and set some bars. So it's like I remember it and I'm kind of like, oh yeah, it's a good game. But then if I really think about it, I'm like, well, no, it's pieces of a good game, and it's a lot of pieces, but they're sort of scattered all over like a bland game, and it comes together in a way that's like, yeah, I get it. It's got a lot of value. There's certain things to talk about where you're like, no, a lot of games took from it. It did a lot of things that other things would go on to attempt and do better or worse at. But for the most part, like, this thing is a mess. The MGSV experience is a bit of a fucked up mess, and it does have something to do with the Kojima Konami fallout. But like, even now, I still will tell people in casual conversation, Ground Zeroes is my favorite MGSV title. Of the whole cohort, I guess. Because it's like, if I have to go back and play a Metal Gear, it's not gonna be it's not gonna be this one. And I know that's not the case for a lot of the, like, a lot of people got into Metal Gear from this game. This was their first Metal Gear, so to them this is the top. But yeah, it's got some spots where you're just like, this sucks. This fucking sucks. And I remember thinking that even my first playthrough, being like, okay, let's move this along. Like, let's get somewhere with this. And you never get anywhere with it, you know? I think that
You never do, yeah.
yeah, like, it's cool and everything to have
Oh,
a kind of
I
new
need to
game
talk about
plus.
this one.
What? What's this one?
I need to
Executed?
talk about Executed, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
So people have somewhat of the impression this game is like heavily polished, and that this game has no flaws in a like QA sense, like quality assurance. But I assure you that together with the S ranks, that this just shows that this game was rushed out of the fucking door. Because Executed, you need to do all the side objectives in every single mission of the game. In some cases, twice or three times. Because like you have the repeated missions on New Game Plus basically, and you need to complete the same objectives on New Game Plus. But Executed is such a buggy trophy in the sense of sometimes it tells you to extract a container, and you go to get the container, and you extract it, and the game that just doesn't notice you got the container, so you need to restart, begin the mission again. But that would be fine. Like there would be no problem if it was just a bug like that. But for missions like I forgot the name. I think it's mission 14. It's a mission that you need to listen to conversations on this game, sometimes at multiple spots. And for just some goddamn reason, the game will just bug it out and cancel the conversations, and then you lose the trophy. It's some of the most infuriating shit I had to do in a video game, and this is why it's a 2 out of 10 and not a 1 out of 10. Because holy shit, I was losing my mind at one mission, man. Because those motherfuckers would just stop going to the place that they were supposed to. And it wasn't because I had alerted anyone, it wasn't because I had left anything. And I knew I was doing it right because I was getting codename Foxhound. So I wasn't leaving any traces, but the game just refused, and it had nothing to do with the time of day. It had nothing to do with wild animals being near them. It's just that they would bug the conversation and they would never proceed, and the mission would just freeze. They would like stand in front of like what's the name, the prisoners, and they wouldn't talk. They would like bump into each other, and it's just a mess. Like this entire thing here, it's just bugged to all hell. Some people never find solutions to this shit. And even with the animal trophy, it seems like some people stumble upon completion bugs there that you have to, recapture all the animals again to get the trophy. So this is infuriating to a level that I cannot even describe. This was one of the shittiest achievements I ever had the displeasure of working on. Mostly because of how repetitive, how fucking devoid of any meaning this trophy is, because just listening to conversations and extracting a vehicle or a container is just dumb. Like, it's just dumb. I know it's there to be kind of like the synchronization in Assassin's Creed to show what, the boss did canonically. because they couldn't have built it in that into the S rank because they got lazy and didn't want to play test the fucking S ranks. So they just did it like this. So it add to your score towards the S rank, but that doesn't really matter when S on this game S rank just stands for speed and nothing else.
Yeah.
Literally can get detected, run towards an enemy, kill every fucking body, and still get an S. That's how fucking bent and broken this game is.
Well,
So yeah.
I mean, I think that that's a conversation that's been had all over the internet for years of like what happened with this game, and there's all kinds of autopsies that we could poke at. But I do want to answer this question from Slow Thinking in the chat, since we have a chat, since normally we're just recording these. But they asked what expectations do we have for MGS3 remake, and I think it's actually like applicable to this conversation because this is an example of Metal Gear when like, you know, the creator of Metal Gear is at odds with the company, and you get a kind of like, you know, a crazy rollout. Like they were showing off features that weren't going to be in the game months before release, basically, and they were hiding PT, and there was all kinds of crap going on. The MGS3 remake is honestly like it. You know, people aren't really aware of how smooth sailing Konami has it with that thing, because there's just so much goodwill with MGS3, but so few people who are like diehard adherents of the actual source material being, you know, totally one-to-one. And then, you know, the ceiling of what you can do with a remake of a Metal Gear game is so fucking high because of Twin Snakes. Like Twin Snakes has aged and become kind of beloved by people in like a weird way, and if that can happen, you can literally do anything you want in a remake and it won't piss off, you know, too many people. Because I don't think you even have to give too much of a shit about old Metal Gear fans at this point. You're trying to get a new audience anyway, so they're not going to do anything crazy. The rollout's been really chill and really calm, so I think it'll be the most like it'll be kind of like mediocre. But yeah, Harlem, give your 2 cents, because it like I do think it applies.
To me, the thing about MGS3 remake to me is that I ask people to see the track record, and I mean I don't mean like MGSV in general. I mean after the fallout that Kojima had with Konami, like I'm gonna just tell what my experience was, because out of the mainline games that were relevant to me, the remakes that they released, which was basically Zone of the Enders, the Mars VR, which
fantastic
they grabbed
remake.
they basically made a 4K version of Zone of the Enders 2 with VR support and all the crazy goodies, like changes to the core gameplay that just brought that game to already legendary status. It was already one of the most beloved hack and slash games, together with Ninja Gaiden 2, the original one on the Xbox, and they just made it into something even more of a beast.
And then Silent Hill, right?
And Sky Games. And then Silent Hill 2.
Yeah, Silent Hill 2.
Yeah, which was, you know, almost universally beloved by a community that just loves to whine about shit.
Exactly.
So they have a track record. People don't understand how ridiculous it was that Silent Hill 2 was well accepted. Like, people don't understand how hard that was and how they made it out to be.
And
like, they added new shit that makes sense to the core game. It feels like the original is incomplete now. Same thing for Zone of the Enders 2. Feels like the incomplete is the original is the inferior version now. I'm sure people like some of the things like voice acting and, you know, the cutscenes. I would be into that crowd. Like, I think some of the Maria lines on the new one are not as good as the original, but the overall package for 2 is amazing.
Well,
like, it's amazing.
Dude, exactly though, because I was just gonna bring up they released footage of the Ocelot meow, and it's not good, but it doesn't matter that it's not good, because it to some extent. I think companies, smarter companies, have figured out when you do put out these kind of, like, these are hard reboots. Like the Silent Hill 2 thing that's a hard remake of that game.
I guess we could do. I guess we could also, you know, just talk about Silent Hill 2 remake as well.
Yeah, you can pull up whatever you want. But all I was gonna say was, when you're doing something like that, you actually want to piss off a portion of the hardcore fans. I think at this point, like, I think people learned their lesson with what happened with Star Wars, where like if you don't go out of your way to be like, no, it's gonna be different, like you might not like it, then like you're gonna take a huge hit down the road. because it's like it's a serious thing, man. Like you're saying with Silent Hill 2, that community loves to shit on its own stuff. They love to hate on every new Silent Hill thing. And when that remake was pretty much universally acclaimed and people tried to shit on it and everyone was like, shut up, it's good, it was actually pretty miraculous. And we never had like a I've never seen anybody go back and be like, hold on a second, this is a way bigger deal than people have realized.
I'm a person that I put my money where my mouth is. Like if I say I play a game, I usually try to get the platinum. Like I got the platinum for 2, 3, and I had on my other account I had what's the name of that other one? Downpour Planet there as well, and Book of Memories, which I'm gonna do it in this account. But I have 2 and 3 here. I have the true remake, and this was phenomenal. Like this was legit one of the best remakes ever because not only the correct way of calling this would be Silent Hill 2 Part 2 if you played the original, but if you never played the original, this is just Silent Hill 2. This is not like Final Fantasy. This is like really well executed idea that they had.
Yeah.
And I gotta say I don't like Silent Hill 2, the original. I don't like it very much. I think some of the fights on that game were kind of bad. Like people say
I think it's an artifact now. Like now it's entered into what it really should be and what a lot of older games should be. Like a lot of older games should not be ported 1-to-1 because you can't really remove them from the hardware. And I think to place certain things, certain titles like in a permanent status, almost like a Steam engine or something, like put them in a museum status of like, no, if you want to experience the original Silent Hill 2, get your ass a PlayStation, get your ass a disc and sit down and play that shit the way it was meant to be played. But you also are completely able to do that now with this remake. Like you've showed me enough of this remake for me to sit down and go, no, that's Silent Hill 2. That looks just like it. That feels just like it. It's close, it's close enough that I'm fine with that being what people think of from here on out as being Silent Hill 2.
And the thing about this remake is that on the original you had section like I'm gonna maybe shots fired at this point, but you have people like Susie saying that she's never gonna play this game because remakes don't respect
Susie Sphere Hunter?
or anything. Yeah, that one. And then she goes onto this weird rant about this, and I'm sure there's other YouTubers as well. But I have to say, some of these people have some weird takes on Silent Hill 2, and it makes me question if they really played the game. Like, have you really got to the Eddie fight, like on the original, where you can just bonk his head with the fucking pipe? Like, just press the fucking attack button with the pipe and he dies. He literally just stands there getting bonked in the head. And here is an actual fight. There's an actual element of strategy on the fucking fight. Like you're actually like on a big freezer, and there's like bodies, carcasses that string around, and he comes with the knife to fucking knife you or shoot you. That's like a reimagining of a fight, preserving what the original intent was.
I get when people are upset when things are changed, but like I'll stand by what I said earlier, which is that like when you do these remakes now, you do have to alienate a small percentage of the hardest of the hardcore old franchise fans, just because they will drag you out, they will drag your ass down. And like you're saying, that's a much better reiteration of a design that already had a kind of layout that wasn't really all the way there due to whatever limitations might have happened at the time. But then somebody comes in who actually gives a shit and makes it a little more robust, and it adds to the experience in a way that's not disparaging. That's a big move. And that's not, you gotta have balls to do that, because it's easy to do the Star Wars thing and try to placate everybody, but then you end up with 10 years of people screeching about everything, and you end up just making shit because you're in stasis. You don't know how to please anybody anymore. And that shit can happen, man, but it won't happen. Konami's not going down that road, like you've been saying. Zoe was good, Silent Hill 2 was good, Metal Gear 3 Remake is probably going to be good too.
And some of these people have the argument that, it's erasing the original, and I go like, have you even played Silent Hill 2 Remake? Have you even played the original game? Like, because that's the question to me that it's kind of a thing on the Silent Hill community. Is like people don't play games. Like they really don't. Like they kind of want to be in the community and they want to interact and have their own ideas heard. But it's like when they start talking, it's like I'm not saying that you need to platinum a video game to be a part of a fandom. In my opinion, even if you just watch a game to completion, you can be considered somewhat of a fan of its art style and its overall message. But some of these people don't seem to even have watched
Well,
playthroughs of the game.
that's
They seem
my
to just be there just to cause chaos,
that's why
and that's
like
something that is really worrying to me.
I don't have I have that relationship to the Silent Hill franchise. Like I've only seen people played it and only played it a few times myself, but I'm not like a huge fan of it, and I don't pretend to be some arbiter of what it's supposed to represent or feel like or be. But I do think, like, I sat down and watched my friend's dad play it when I was a kid, the first one, and
Hmm.
it does have this strange air about it. It's unique to that franchise. I can't think of anything else like it, where it's almost always like you never encountered it in a magazine or something. Everybody, whoever came across it, always did so secondhand, it seems, at least in the United States. But
Hmm.
in terms of, like, dude, the people watching video games thing has got to be huge all over the world, just because you can't get your hands on hardware to play any of these things in certain places. I don't know how you would.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
You'd have
And
no other option than to be
and
consuming
the
this
thing.
entirely on YouTube.
And one of my points is that, people like those YouTubers, they will scream at you saying that, no, you need to play this game on original hardware with a PS2, otherwise it's not the same thing. And I go like, have you ever heard of a little thing called computers?
Yeah,
Like, do you
emulation.
even understand you can emulate these games or run them with mods to make it like 1-to-1 on PC? Like, you don't need $300. It seems to me what's happening there is that these people want to flaunt that they have a fucking Silent Hill 2 or a fucking Silent Hill 3 copy for the PS2, yet they never fucking played the damn thing. They're just fucking hoarding this shit. Like it's with fucking Sanrio woman now fucking hoarding PSPs and fucking
Can I?
pumping them out with fucking Hello Kitty stickers.
Yeah.
It's like it's a symbol rather than just its own work of art. It means something outside of what it was supposed to be, and it
So,
pisses me the fuck off.
Yo,
so Harlem,
Redux.
I have part of an answer to that for you. All right.
Hmm.
So, really, the main reason is that a lot of people are retarded, like myself. Remember how excited I was to have figured out how to emulate Ghost Babel, and that's like the simplest thing to fucking emulate.
Yeah.
But that's because I'm an idiot. Like half the shit you guys have told me to, like, oh, emulate this,
You
emulate
no
this.
no you're not a dumbass. You're literally deals with crypto and finances. You're not a dumbass.
I know, but
It
you know what, that the reason I'm able to do that is because that's a simple click of a button. I'm not looking at file types. As soon as you send me something that's .exe or whatever, I'm like, so,
No,
I
he's
think there's
Harlem. He is right. There are people for whom doing any of that stuff, it's not. It's
Yeah,
not.
but
It's just like,
but I mean, you don't need a copy of Silent Hill 2 for four
no.
hundred dollars to
oh
play
no,
a
you
game.
don't.
Well,
That's my
the
point.
best example is, we all know Italian Joe. I know everybody might not know Italian Joe, but we do. And he's got like the greatest Metal Gear, origin story ever, and he's been a fan of this franchise literally from day one. He played the first game on a fucking bootleg cassette. Like, he didn't even have he had some weird other thing that wasn't an MSX but played cassettes, and had the cassette to play the first Metal Gear on, and that's how, or the second one, I guess, Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake or whatever. But like, piracy and video games have been there from day one. Like, bootlegging video games has been there from day one. So it's like, the issue is like, there's a suppression of, how to do this stuff, and you can't really talk about it in the open. And then you do get people like Redux, for whom you're like, even something like RetroArch, where it's like a whole thing you can just get on Steam, and you just get the cores, and then you just go find ROMs. It's like, even that is like enough of a process to be like, fuck that. I'll just go to Best Buy and pick up a hard copy and put it on my shelf.
No, but that isn't my point. It's just that like you can
Yeah,
grab
you
a
can.
copy, that would be fine. It's just that the process of you having a copy and not playing it makes me insanely mad. Like,
Yes,
okay, so you have a copy of Silent Hill 2 now, and you don't want to play it. And so why do you have it? Is it like to post it on fucking Instagram or some shit? Because I see that
Yeah,
all the
man.
time on fucking Twitter.
Yes.
Like I see people post games they never played. It's like, oh, I got this game today. It's pretty
yeah, dude.
rare.
That's the equivalent of posting a gold brick in your hand these days.
Yeah.
Remember when remember like a few months ago when they were saying like you can't, that the 28 days later is not available on like it's not available on streaming
It wasn't
anywhere.
for years until they
Like,
announced the new one.
like even myself, I went out and bought a physical copy. And I haven't watched the physical copy. Of course, I posted it in my hand. I literally said physical media gold. That's what that shit is. It's physical media gold because it does keep going up in value. Like, so yeah, it's fucking infuriating that like these people aren't going to play the game, but they're literally hoarding it like gold. That's what it is.
Well,
It is like if they just hoarded it, if they just had like fucking 50 copies of Silent Hill 2 for the PS2, I wouldn't even know about their existence if they weren't on the fucking places of discussion for this game, being fucking unsufferable bitches.
Yeah,
Like
but
because they're insufferable.
here, I'll
That's
give
the
you
problem.
a dumbass crypto perspective. I'll give you a Bitcoin example. This is like the problem is though is that a lot of these people that are doing the images, they waited too long. This is the equivalent of like if you're buying Bitcoin at 60,000 as opposed to when it used to be like 10,000, you could buy like two or multiple of them. So now it costs $400 or $500 for one copy of Silent Hill. So people acquire that and they go, well, I can't afford two of them, so I'm going to hold on to this one, but I'm never going to play it because then it'll decrease in value.
yeah.
Uh,
Slow thinking from the chat said I don't have any resources to buy video games, so it feels strange that there are people condemning others for a choice that I have to make to play something like piracy. Well, this is where like,
you should absolutely pirate video games.
No, yeah,
Go for
the
it.
price of every video game, if you can pirate it, is $0. If they can't stop you from pirating it, then the price is completely arbitrary. Like if they're not able I mean, they should charge $1 million for every video game because some schmuck will pay it and they'll make their money back. But the reality is, like, if you can pirate it, why pay any money for it at all? It's on them to stop you. It's on them to tax you.
I'll tell you this. Here, this is purely to get clips someday from people asking for receipts fucking 30 years from now. But if I release my game, fucking pirate it. Like, go on, pirate it.
And
I want to see you pirate it. Want to read my comic? It's free.
Which,
you can read it right now.
This is why our comic is free. And actually, this is why we encourage theft of our comic, and it's in so many languages because we want you to steal it and spread it, so you can read it in Chinese, Japanese, Brazilian, Portuguese, and English currently.
But this is what I mean. Someone out there is hoarding copies of Silent Hill 2, putting the fucking prices up. While there's someone that genuinely would play this game to beginning to end and would have it as something that she loves or he loves, and they can't because people are collecting these things as if they are gold when they're not. And that's my whole point. Like, if you want to play a game, if you only have it on the PS3, if the PS3 version of Silent Hill 2 and Silent Hill 3 are the only ones you have, you should absolutely play them on the PS3 or the PS2. And if someone comes saying to you, oh, but that wasn't good enough, you tell them to fuck off. Or for example, you let's say you don't even have money for a PS3 or the original copy, then pirate it and have it on PC for free. And if someone says, no, the PS2 version is better, just tell them to fuck off because they probably didn't even play the fucking PS2 game. And it drives me insane.
Until they can find a way to 100% tax you for art. Like, art is free. That's the product of humanity. You're allowed to have that. And if you believe video games are art, then bingo, bam, free. Like I make no bones about that. Because if they can kick your door in and make you pay for it, then good on them. Like Nintendo does that. And people don't, people are kind of cagey about stealing from Nintendo as a result, but that's because they put the money to send the fucking tax man to your door to collect.
But here, going back to this platinum over here, I find it very cool that they actually added new endings to Silent Hill 2. It was fresh. They gave some spin to some of the endings. They do require to get all of the classic endings for Party Like It's 2001, which it's basically
Does this still have the UFO?
it still has the UFO, correct?
Hell yeah.
And it has a specific trophy for it, which is, let me see here. Where is the ending trophies?
What's the Silent Hill that had the scrapped Metal Gear tie-in ending, where it was all Solid Snake's dream?
I don't remember.
That is
No.
that is the most bizarre thread through all of Metal
Here,
Gear, is that
look
Solid
at- look
Snake
at the
has
name of this.
bizarre dreams.
Look
that
at the name of the
Silent Hill type
UFO
murder.
ending. Look at the
Hell yeah.
icon for the UFO
That's
ending,
awesome.
and it's called Tinfoil Hat. But I'm gonna play this ending on stream, boys. Because this ending here has a twist on the actual remake. It has a very cool twist that you guys are gonna see now. I'm gonna put it on the screen for you guys to see this. Oh look, a cameo player. But basically, it has a little bit of a twist. It's very funny.
Very good audio.
I love this ending on the remake. It's even better than the original.
Damn. I don't know if I can get audio.
Ah,
I don't know.
No
I
problem.
don't know where it's coming out of.
but here, you guys are gonna see the joke anyway. So PS2 James shows up in a silent movie, so they have a conversation. I'm the real you.
This is sick. This is
You've
why
been a clone this entire time.
yeah, this is why people didn't complain. This is awesome. Space James.
And they just take him. Look at that smile. Look at that PS2 James smile.
That's awesome.
Should be. That's very good.
That's the kind of fun they need to be having with these games. Like, I really truly hope they do something very interesting with the dream in the jail in the MGS3 remake. That's the only thing I care about. Is what are they gonna stick in place of the guy?
If they are based, they just put a Zo3 to fucking demo there.
Just an
But
old
they are not
Zone
as
3
based.
demo that they've got laying
Yeah.
around. Or like put PT there, put all of PT in the dream sequence.
Yeah, off PT, that would be great too.
And you like have to speed run it because it's time.
Yeah.
You know what would really fuck with people? Is if you have a dream sequence where it's you play like the beginning of Metal Gear Solid 4.
Yeah, it's got to be something that only Konami can do.
Yeah.
Because they only get one shot at it, and they can't do the Guy Savage demo again. As cool as that would be, to rebuild and revisit Guy Savage, they've got to replace that with something else.
Are there any other Konami franchises that are in the works to be rebooted?
Oh,
I
I
think
don't
that would
know,
be-
but that would be good.
Let me look.
Yeah, take a peek at that, because I'm sure there are. I mean, doing something with Zone of Enders would be already. That would already be enough. While he's looking, Harlem, any final thoughts for tonight's episode of Platinum? That way we can wrap it up nicely.
I have a little bit of a last bit is like, might seem that I'm repeating myself, but it's always the influencers that are talking about how much big fans they are about something, and they just do reviews and never play the games on streams or live, and they seem a little bit patronizing and elitist. Those are always the ones that are fake fucks. It's always them. Like it's always the ones who have like privated IDs. You cannot look at their achievements. You cannot look at their playtime. It's always the frauds, man. I'm telling you, man.
I
It's always
mean,
the frauds.
I will say no matter what you care about, we are in kind of a warlord era where people with acquired influence are, desperate all over to not give it up. And there are some
It's like
bizarre
it's like
things that
those-
come out of that.
it's like those collector YouTube channels that are sponsored by suspiciously sponsored by gaming stores, and they
Yeah.
suspiciously bring a hidden gem to you that their store holds 300 copies of it. It's very suspect. Not gonna say it's 100% a scam, but because my lawyer would be calling me, but
Well, I know
It is
something
weird.
that is 100% not a scam, which is our comic Neon Seed Babylon. If you want to read it, you can read it now
Free.
in 4 different languages for free on Global Comics. That is, I think, all we've got for Platinum. We're pretty much gonna keep doing Platinum as much as whenever you get one. Now, I feel like, I feel like whenever you've got one that you really want to talk about, I'll make the time.
So here,
Oh, you
this would
got one?
be, I
You found
guess,
a hit?
well, just
Perfect.
because they were Castlevania also, that'd be the only one that
They're
you would
rebooting
maybe.
Castlevania. Yeah. Okay. Well, no, that's a perfect fit then. Squeeze a Castlevania teaser in the
Yeah,
Guy
and
Savage
well,
demo spot, and
Yeah,
then
fish-
while you wait, read Neon Seed, and
Yeah,
The-
read Neon Seed, so I can make a horribly violent video game in
Yeah.
a few years.
Yeah,
Y'all
we're
can
slow burning on a video
cancel
game.
it, and
so
y'all
support the
can
book.
cancel it and fucking hate me when it comes out because it's too hard.
And the only other thing I'll say is I've physical copies of the book are in. So if you actually are interested in supporting the efforts in the future of trying to let Harlem develop a game, trying to push things forward, and you want a physical copy, I'll have those, and there'll be information about that in a bit. All right, boys, I'm not leaving the VC. I'll be around.